Okay, first up on the list of our cheat sheet, we've already seen these, but we have the K and then we have the G. So remember, the K is written with right hand motion and it is a shorter sound than G, so therefore it is about half the length of the G sound, or the G is twice the length of the K sound. Again, it doesn't really matter as long as it makes sense within the context of your writing space. So let's do an example. We have the word key, which is written like this based on the vowel sounds we just learned. So we have K and E versus the G sound, which let's do egg, which would be E and then G, egg. Let's do one more of each. Let's do the word ache. So A, K. We have the word ache for A, K sound. And let's do gate. So G, A, T, gate. Gate. All right, moving right along. So another one of the forward consonants groupings is the R and the L sound. The R, like the K, is written as a curve, but it is written as a left motion curve, where the L is also a left motion curve with about twice the length of the R. Okay, so again, written in left motion is the bottom half of this ellipse that we just learned. So let's do some examples. Ray would be R-A, whereas air would be A-R. Air. Remember, phonetically, we don't need that middle letter because the long A sound kind of does a lot of the work for us. Similarly, with L, or the L sound, we have lay, L-A, versus eel, E-L, E-L. Okay, this is probably one of the easiest of them all. The N sound is just written with a forward stroke. The M, similarly in phonetic pronunciation, is a forward stroke of about twice the length of the N. If we take an example there, let's do the word neat. N-E-T, N-E-T, versus meat, which is M-E-T, meat, M-E-T. We haven't introduced this character yet, but let's do tan, T-A-N, and dam, which is D-A-M. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, we hinted at these strokes last time, but a T is written upward and forward in about a half stroke, whereas the D is written upward and forward about twice the length of that T. So again, remember our ellipse. If you were to derive this character from our reference here, our T and our D would occupy this space. In the previous one, we learned about the N and the M, which occupies the horizontal plane, whereas the T and the D are upward and forward. Okay, so let's do an example based on some of the things we've just put together. Let's do the word tick. So T-I-K, tick. Let's do one more. So again, this is the K, the I, and the T. Let's do kit. So K-I-T. So this is an example of how using the T stroke either before or after in the order of the sounds can look. So kit, K-I-T, versus T-I-K for tick. Okay, let's do dig. Dig can be D-I-G. Okay, so it looks a lot like tick, but it occupies a lot more real estate in your writing space. And that's how you know that if you're looking at this, this is D-I-G, not T-I-K. Okay, one more example. Let's do the word mad. So M-A-D. Notice again, occupying a lot of real estate here for the M's and the D's to let us know that these are the long version of the forward strokes. Okay, the H. The H is interesting because it's not really a stroke, but rather it is a dot that is placed over a vowel sounds. So, for example, let's take the word hack. We just learned the A and then the K sound. So phonetically, this would be written H-A-K in Gregg. So we just learned this, the A-K at least. Let's do A-K. And then the H would be written as a dot over the vowel sound. Okay, so without the dot, this would be ache. With the dot, it is hack. Let's do another example. Oh, I totally misspelled hack. That's hatch, kind of hack. Okay, let's do hick. Hick. Spell that correctly this time. Similarly, you have a H, an E, and then a K. Hick. So without it, it would be ick. With it, it is hick. Okay? Makes sense? The dot. Keep in mind this dot, again, it's placed over the vowel sound. We're going to be seeing this dot again, but don't worry about it just yet. Okay, the final sound in our phonetic alphabet for this lesson is TH, which is a soft T sound. So th as in thick versus t as in tick. So because it's phonetically kind of similar to the T, to pronounce the soft th sound, you just soften the T. Okay, so you curve that T. So there are two forms of TH. Actually, the TH can be written like in right hand motion like this, or it can be written in left hand motion like this. Okay, so anytime you see a curve that occupies a small area of your writing space, if you're using lined paper, you know that that is a th sound. Let's review all of the sounds we just learned and where they are at on this ellipse. Okay, so first in the forward consonants, we learned the K and the G grouping. So we have K and G, and both of them are written forward and to the right. So the top half of this curve, either this long G or about half the length for the K. Okay, next we learned the bottom of the circle, which is the R and the L. And because R is a short sound, it is about half the length of the L sound. So R and L. R, L. Okay, the N and the M, N written forward and about half the length of the M. If you have a hard time remembering this and the short versus long sounds doesn't make sense to you, just think of putting a N versus a M. M has two N's, and therefore the M is twice the length of the N. Or just memorize it. Like you'll pick it up here pretty quick. Similarly, for T and D, the T and the D, the T is a forward half length stroke, whereas the D is twice the height and potentially the length. But again, it only matters if you can differentiate between the two. Next, we learned the H sound. H is just a dot. And then we have TH, which is a softened T. So TH, TH. Okay? So other than the dot, this is kind of a curve. All of these forward strokes can be derived from this horizontal ellipse. Now that you know all the forward consonants and a handful of the vowel sounds, let's do a couple examples from the homework. So we have our A loop and an L. So that sound would be ale, ale, ale. Over here, we have a small E loop and then that same L. So this would be eel or ill. If it was eel, you could also mark it with that long dash. Let's do a couple more. So this one looks a lot like the one above, but it's got the dot, which indicates an H sound. So it would be hail, hail, or hail. I don't know how, I forgot how that's spelled. Similarly, H-E-L, or heel, heel, or hill. Both of these are correct. Heel or hill. One more. D-A-L. So Dale. Dale. N-E-L. Kneel. Okay, so go ahead and use your cheat sheet if you need help puzzling out all of these things. See if you can translate as many as you can, and then you can consult the solutions manual if you get stuck on anything.